go. We will begin shortly. Oh. Been waiting all day for this. I booked this week off because I've got some stuff going on at home. Some house stuff being done, reno, DIY, that kind of thing. The plasterer who was doing the downstairs living room literally finished about 40 minutes ago, about 4 o'clock, 4:15, so that was actually perfect timing. So I've had some food, had some grub, got a cup of tea, some biscuits, we're ready to roll. For some reason the YouTube version of this wasn't working, so I switched over to the Twitch version. So yeah, should all be good now, hopefully. I can't remember what usually gets announced in the very first keynote. Usually I just can't remember if I watched the last one or if I was either working and had to keep an eye on certain things. I can't remember the ins and outs, but we're here. Oh, exciting, exciting. Ooh! Yeah, baby. Final Fantasy Festival 2023. I don't know, I would put my headphones on instead. And then just turn off the thing. Nah, we'll roll with it, we'll roll with it. Do I have the volume set properly? Didn't even have it set to 100%. What am I playing at? What am I playing at, boy? Oh, come on. It said 5 o'clock, 7 minutes past. I'm sitting here in anticipation. Hoping, praying. Dun, 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 dun. Should have really filled up my water bottle as well. Could be a long evening. Next week in the first keynote, they just announced the expansion. Yoshi P always wears a random t-shirt to tease the new job. My thoughts on the new job, new tank. Called an Enforcer, or a Magitech Enforcer, and basically you have the hammer gun thing that Nero has, and he will be your mentor quest giver, but usually you have to always say yes or no if you want to become that role. His little question, it'll say, I think, you know, if it does happen, that he'll say, I will only teach you or show you the ways of the Enforcer if you admit that I am a better engineer than Sid Garland. But that's what I think a job could be, a Magitech Enforcer. A tank, you've got a big hammer, or you could even make it a melee DPS, massive hammer. but I reckon tank would be a cool job, or one that purely, since we've attuned to the ether like an absolute whiz kid, we can now use the ether as a weapon. A bit like how Alize did with the book, and she pulled out the red mage weapon before she got given an actual red mage weapon. Something similar to that, but you could make it a hybrid. You could be melee and a caster. Because with this expansion they built the 60-minute and 2-minute burst windows. Within that burst you'd have like your buff skill, but that buff actually changes what role you are. So you'll start off as, say, a melee. When you use that buff, you then become the caster, and then obviously you'll have cast abilities and things. So you are a proper hybrid. Because obviously when they first announced Red Mage as a hybrid, it's not a hybrid. You use melee combo for like 10 seconds maximum, and then you're done. You then cast him for another minute. But yeah, that's what I think. Obviously they're not going to come true, but you never know. You never know. Anything is possible. People thought that Reaper weren't going to be a thing, but here we are. Reaper is a thing. Due to some cultural things, I think. People were saying that no, they can't do that. From what I remember a couple of years ago. But we have a Reaper. And when are we starting? Man's getting impatient. Oh, it's warm in here. Warm. Bam bam ba da bam bam blam. How are we getting on your Final Fantasy? Anything happening? You still get kicked if you're not playing for like 30 minutes. I can't remember. I would do roulette, but do you think everyone's just stopped playing and they're just watching? Let's go see. I bet if we go to Limsa, there's going to be like loads of players just like sitting about as if they're getting ready to watch. I mean, there's loads of players about. I thought they might have set up some kind of order. But they haven't. They have not. So I can't remember if you still get kicked out after 30 minutes of inactivity. Ah! 23,149 viewers. Think about it, the millions of players that actually have the game. Only 23,000 are watching. Obviously you have got however X amount are actually in Vegas watching it live with their BDRs in the, I don't know what they call it, auditorium, something like that. Yeah, this is also my first time doing anything like this, like a live reaction type doodah. I thought, whilst I've got the time, I'll do it. I'll do it. I personally haven't got an absolute clue where they might send the expansion. A lot of people are speculating, is it Mericidia, the Dragonland, or where they came from or were living? But not a clue. Could be anything. Could be absolutely anything. For all we know, we could be going back in time in Eorzea. Or we've somehow managed to learn how to traverse all the worlds and we're just going to go travelling for all the rest of the shards. Who knows? Who knows? I haven't got a clue. I mean, currently we're just still in the void, so who knows? Who knows? Usually, it's from now you have some kind of hint, from what I remember, but nothing. Oh. 10 minutes, 15 minutes gone. Come on. But then, I guess they got to get everyone seated first, didn't they? Since there was like thousands of people waiting on that, on a couple of streamers I was watching, doing like that IRL stream of the FanFest. Billions of them, there was like ants. So I guess they've got to get all them in and seated before they can do anything. That's going to take a little while. Yeah, for some reason the YouTube one was just put on something else. I don't know if it was because it was broken or not. I didn't want to risk it. Did not want to risk it. So I thought I'd go to Twitch. I saw someone else was watching the actual stream where it had this screen, so I thought, right, we'll go with Twitch link instead. Play it safe, play it safe. You're also getting the graphic update in 7.0, so I don't know what that will do in terms of like PC requirements and things. Not that the game needs a powerful PC to really run it, but you know, it's always something to consider if maybe a new game on a little laptop, or maybe a friend's giving you a budget PC that they no longer need or whatever, and you've been playing on that. Playing Final Fantasy 14 on that, you haven't got a PS4 or 5, you know. That's always a consideration of things, you know, if the machine will run it. But I'm sure it won't be nothing drastic. You're not going to need a 4090 to play it, put it that way. Weird, because things like this make you realise how much you really love the game. So, I mean, the expansion comes out, you're buzzing for it, you're doing that like first week 1, week 2 stuff. Oh, here we go, woo! Yeah, baby. Oh. Action time. Action Man, the greatest hero ever known. Did we just get baited? That's what I was saying. Like the first 2 weeks of the expansion, you know, you're flying through the story, soaking everything in, you're like, oh my god, this game's fantastic. And obviously you have like over the course of the expansion, you get a little bit bored, a bit burnt out, think the game is like meh. Then it comes back around for a new expansion release. And all the love, all the hype, all the excitement and enjoyment for the games comes rushing back. It's a weird feeling. It's like when I'm doing like this first week of the expansion, because I actually went through the story as Reaper, so I spent like the weekend before my week off after it, because it came out like what, Thursday, Friday or something in December. And I spent from then the weekend power leveling Reaper, just so I could do Reaper for the story. And I've never power leveled something like that crazy in my life. And then I've done the story as Reaper, and then in my mind I'm like, I could play this game every day and do absolutely everything and absolutely love it. But it doesn't work like that. I have played the game a lot. I always play the game a lot, most days. But I did take, not breaks, but I have had times where I'm like, I don't fancy doing anything in the game, I'll go play something else. But you get to an expansion and just all this like buzz comes back, like you think, yeah, I can play this game every day and do nothing. And do nothing else, but yeah, can't believe we just got baited. They put that little thing up thinking, oh, here we go, and then they go, nah, we'll begin shortly. Just making sure our little age rating thing worked. Very naughty that was. Very, very naughty. Has everyone found their seat yet? Anything happening in Limbs? Let's have a look. Nothing interesting. I was going to teleport back to my FC house, I think. Oh my god, the wait. I even scoffed my food down as well. My tea was fresh out of the oven. I lobbed it on the plate, got it sorted, shoved it down my gob. I'm thinking, we're going to start like spot bang on 5 o'clock, or a little bit after 5 minutes or whatever. Only half an hour later. No, this was a good fight, if you know the music. Do I have a couple of biscuits? I feel like as soon as I open the biscuits, it's going to change and my fingers are going to be all sticky fingers. I don't like sticky fingers. I don't actually like eating food in my room. But since we've been having the living room plastered, I've kind of been eating things in my room or just outside my room. Or in the kitchen, just standing there. I don't know, when I was living at Mum's, I didn't mind eating food in like my room or in where I had all my gaming set up, but since I've got my own house, place and things, I don't like no food coming into my room at all. Let me just mute my mic. Yummy. Hey, on my desk. Here's what I like eating in. Make a mess. Mess! Do you think they're going to go for a song for like the whole of all the expansions before they start? Hope we're not waiting too much longer. It's been nearly half an hour. Half an hour! Well, I guess these things can't really be rushed, can they? So my hands feel horrible now. I have a thing about having dirty hands. Not a fan. Not a fan. This fight was good, extreme version of this fight. Again, if you know the song, bloody awesome. Personally, I don't think it's been another extreme trial quite like it, to be fair. Still don't have the mount from this fight either. I don't have the mount from a lot of the fights. Don't know why, but whenever we've gone in with like our FC or static, we'll clear it. If we've cleared it quite quickly, we'll like farm it for a few weapons. But if it's taken us a few days, we clear it, and then that's usually about it. And we don't tend to go back in, which is a shame because the extreme fights are good fun. Yeah, it's got louder all of a sudden. It wasn't me that made it louder either. to go. Create a channel in our Discord, our raid Discord. That's what it is. And I thought something was happening. I was like, oh my god, something's going on, but there wasn't. Very good expansion. Didn't get to enjoy it as much as I'd liked because I had a personal crap going on at the time, a bit annoying. But still a very good expansion. Very good expansion. I keep meaning to create a character and go through the entire game again. You know how long that one takes. Years. Just feel that someone changed my name to get through the deal. Some people are saying that the keynote isn't until like 7 o'clock. So why start everything this early? Hopefully we'll be waiting on the screen for like 2 hours. That would be silly. One thing that did annoy me about this song, obviously people applaud all the song being amazing, but no credit whatsoever was given to Sam Carter in this song. Like none. Like, I forgot that he was even in the damn thing. He was like one of the best vocalists within his scene, and everyone's just like, it's about the lady. Every time people were telling about how good the song was and all this, what about Sam Carter? What about Sam Carter? What about Sam Carter? Even in the very first trailer. Sam Carter is singing and no one gave a shit about it. Rude. Rude. Poor Sam. Should have made a proper heavy song and made all the vocals for it and it would have been banging. Don't know what. Effing boiling in here. Let me find it. Fans on, it's a little bit out. "15 minutes. Got a countdown now, people. We have got a countdown. Not bleeding time. We made a channel in the Discord specifically for FanFest stuff, and we're just talking about barbecue. Oh dear. As you do, you know, just talk about any old rubbish in a channel where we want to post certain things. Oh well. Is what it is, eh? countdown. 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Oh, that fan is doing me wonders. Oh, beautiful. Doing me a solid, as some people would say. The cool kids, I'm not one of them. I go for intro music now. This is Stormbloods. I love Stormblood. I know they say Stormblood wasn't the greatest expansion, but it was my first expansion to experience on release, which why it holds like a little special place, and it was a bloody fun time. I started playing during A Realm Reborn a few months, about 4 or 5 months before Heaven's Ward dropped, which I didn't know nothing about at the time. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to play Final Fantasy 14 casually, you know, blah blah blah. If I like the game, I'd like it. If I don't, I don't. I got addicted to it, obviously. You know, I went through the whole Realm Reborn before I bought Heaven's Ward. I started playing Heaven's Ward the October, November, same year that it came out, so I was only a few months behind. Still never experienced that brand new buzz of an expansion, you know. So that's when Stormblood came around. It was my first time seeing everything, seeing all the new things. I was like, whoa, watching the Keynote and all that stuff. Very exciting times. So, you know, my first proper expansion launch as a player, basically being on the same level as everyone else. Was a very magical thing, doing all the extreme trials for the first time along with everyone else, savage raiding along with everyone else, 24-man raids, day one with everyone else, everything for the first time, day one with everyone else, was very special. So Stormblood does have a nice little soft spot in my heart. It's also the expansion where I was like, right, I want to be a good player. And like, I was warrior tank back then. And between each like roulette, or if I was having some downtime, I would be hitting a training dummy, just practicing my rotation and everything, just so I had it mastered and like ingrained in my mind, just because I wanted to be a good tank, you know, be able to do good damage, everything else, all the rest of it. So I practiced my absolute buttocks off. And it paid off. I did develop a hell of a lot as a player and got a lot better. But yeah, Stormblood, maybe not the greatest story, but some of the greatest memories personally from just the general gaming standpoint. Is that the word, standpoint? Sounds weird when you say it over and over again. But yeah, and then Shadowbringers. First part of the expansion was phenomenal. Raiding wise, I didn't really do a lot. I think we were all having breaks. Not really breaks in the game, but I think we was all a bit burnt out from Stormblood. I had a lot of raiding in Stormblood. I had some other stuff going on, so I didn't play as much. Weren't really into it as much. Plus we had that massive gap due to obviously COVID, where there was literally nothing coming out for like 3 extra months, so that made it a lot harder of an expansion to kind of deal with. Endwalker's been great, very good expansion. I do feel like after the initial 6.0, the story kind of just dropped off a little bit, which is why I have no idea what we're going to be doing next, where we're going to be going next, and hopefully they can bring it back up and proper ramp it up to whatever we're going to be doing, and obviously pop out another banger, because all the expansions have been bangers apart from certain little bits. I do feel like though that this expansion, just on like a battle standpoint, mechanics, they've just reused and reused and reused more than they ever have done. I was doing Chaos, which was Alphascape Turn 1, P09. I think it was either yesterday or the day before, just the normal mode, and to me it felt like that was Stormblood was the last time when they really tried to think of brand new mechanics to bring in. Ever since then they've just recycled everything, which just felt really evident just by doing that, only that one normal fight. Yeah, you had some recycling going on during that expansion, but it feels like Shadowbringers and Endwalker, they've just gone, what have we used? Let's just chuck it in. What have we used? Let's just chuck it in. Obviously the fights have still been good, but it just feels like they haven't really thought about a lot. They've just thrown in loads of old stuff again, just to kind of fill up the fights. Like I think a lot of this expansion has been AoE mad. Like everything's been AoEs. Like every other mechanic is an AoE. Obviously we all know the way Savage fights go now. You start, it either starts with a tank buster or it's a raid wide AoE. Every single time. It's like, can you not think just anything? I think we should start a fight and it should be limit cut straight away. I also think there should be some towers back from A11S. Have that kind of mechanic going. Yeah, maybe recycling again. But that was a good mechanic. Trying to keep 3 towers from breaking so you don't wipe. Along with trying to kill the boss and positioning the boss and moving the boss around so he doesn't cleave the towers and things like that. That was good. That was good. We've seen nothing like it since, which is a shame. Unless there's been stuff like that in Baldessian Arsenal or the Bosnia thing, but I've never done them because that was way too tedious. Trying to do all that, get a weapon, way too much. I don't have enough time to do all that. No way. Stuff like that you can do. Here's 2 sets of mechanics. It'll be this or it'll be this. Guardian was the first time they tried to change things up. Everything else before that was all purely scripted. Because it had the TV, and if that mechanic happened, it would then be a series of other things. But if that mechanic happened, series of other things. That's where they kind of started splitting everything off. And since then it's just been so this or that for each mechanic, this or that, this or that, this or that, this or that. Which is good. You know, it keeps everything, keeps you on your toes a little bit. I don't know, I still think there's more they could do. More things they could try, but they're too scared. Just get it backlash. They get backlash regardless anyway with certain things in content. Just look at Criterion. You know, people were voicing their opinions on how terrible the rewards were in the Savage version. And they didn't fix it. They had months to add something into the reward system and refused. And so why do you not listen? You know, people have told you what you can do. But you just sat back and go, no, this is the reward system. So people are going to do it like once, clear it and cover off. Which is a shame. They keep the Criterion dungeon for their next expansion. Hopefully they've thought about a decent reward system. Personally, I think tomes need to shake up. I hate getting tomes. Weekly tomes, 450 and we're now coming up to the last 2 bloody minutes. Not sure what's happening. Something's going down. Last minute, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. So I better have it. It's been reset the countdown. Psych. 20 minutes or 15 minutes is now, 20 minutes. We're in Saturday for my half day because it's my Saturday. Tidy my warehouse and then come over. It's about time I finish after all done. So the last 20. Here we go. Here we go. Oh. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Come on, the countdown's finished. You can't just do a countdown and do nothing. You've then got to have it immediately you should follow in. Come on, let's go. Just had a countdown, and we're now going to 30 odd seconds. Imagine I put another countdown off like 10 minutes. How annoyed would that be? How annoyed would that be? Here you go. Have another 20-minute countdown. A lot really gets spoken about in Keynote for the very first fanfest. I think it's usually what the expansion is. Sometime I think a release date they normally say, which is it'll be next year. I'll be booking that week off as soon as it comes around. That's what I usually do. I book the week off. Before them on the weekend, I usually go to work that week and I'll book the following week off, so I'll have that the weekend to try and do as much as I can. But then the following proper week is where I'm like, right, here we go, let's sit down, let's do this. So we've just waited 3 minutes after the countdown. So what was the countdown for, Yoshi P? I want answers. Answers now. I've been waiting for no reason. What has this made? Didn't touch it. Now we get another minute countdown, bloody cheek. Finally something's happening! Something's happening! Yeah! No, don't you bait me again, don't do this countdown and then just nothing. I'm getting too excited, I can't deal with it. I can't take any more countdowns. Keep your eyes peeled for everything. Hang the chin on the microphone. Here we go, here we go, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Time, go once upon a time. Take flight, find your wings and spread them wide.
Ah, blue seas, clear skies, and boundless possibilities. I dare say our destination will soon be in sight.
Enjoying yourself for a change?
Banging tune.
Might you have a moment to speak further?
At last, we have come to the land you call the New World. My home. Tural.
Dawntrail. Summer 2024.
Warriors of Light, please welcome to the stage the producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV, Naoki Yoshida.
Nice, those would be tangled up among everything else. No shirt. There's no picture on shirt. No new job.
Welcome to the Final Fantasy XIV Fan Festival 2023 in Las Vegas! thank you for coming today. My name is Naoki Yoshida, producer and director, Final Fantasy XIV. さあ、じゃあ早速ケイトさん呼びましょう。ケイトさん。
Hello, everybody. I'm Kate Swinar, English localization lead of Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm here to tell you what Yoshi P is saying.
本当に久しぶりのこうやってね、皆さんと一緒にやれるファンフェスティバル帰ってきました。とにかく嬉しいです。
It's been a really long time since we've been able to see all of you in person, and I'm so happy to be here with everyone.
さっきトレーラー見ていただいたんで、ここからいよいよ基調講演始めていこうと思うんですが、その前に一つ。
So now that you've seen the trailer, I'd like to get started on the keynote, except before that, we do have one thing we need to take care of.
最近ですね、我々スクエアエニックスの社長 CEO が交代しました。
You see, recently, Square Enix had a change of CEO.
その CEO、なんと皆さんと同じ光の戦士です。
And that new CEO is also a warrior of light, just like you.
ぜひですね、皆さんに向かってご挨拶をしたいということなので、呼んでみようと思います。
We'd really like to have him say hi to you all, so we're going to call him out.
スクエアエニックス CEO 高橋桐生。じゃあセンターでちょっと光の戦士の皆さんに、ね、配信を見てる方もたくさんいると思うので、ぜひご挨拶していただこうと思います。
So if you could stand in the middle right here, so that everyone on the stream can see you as well, and please give us a few words for our warriors of light.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to meet all of you,
He's not an NFT,
warriors
though,
of
is he?
light, here in Vegas. So, what do you think of a new trailer? Did you like it? I wanted to feel exactly what you are feeling right now. So, believe it or not, I decided to hold back and not see it for myself until today's FanFest.
I'm going to interpret
Isn't that
Kiryu-san's
cute?
message in Japanese for those watching the stream in Japanese. 今回のトレーラーをこの場で体感したかったので、今日この場で見るまで、トレーラーを見るのを我慢していました。
In fact, as part of my daily routine lately, I've been watching the older trailers whenever I needed a boost of energy.
なので日々のルーティンの中で自分の気持ちを上げたいときに、14の過去のトレーラーを見てテンションを上げていました。
But that boost is nothing compared to the excitement of experiencing the newest one here in Vegas with all of you, Warriors of Light!
ですからそのテンションはもうここにいる皆さんと一緒に体感するのに比べたらもう本当に比べ物にならないです。ありがとうございます。
To get a glimpse of this new side of Final Fantasy XIV, to imagine all the new worlds that await us in these new lands, the anticipation is almost too much for me to handle.
この14の世界のこれから体験する冒険を想像してみるだけで、気持ちが抑えられません。
And I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way. Are you excited too?
皆さんも同じ気分ですよね。
I hope you have a wonderful time at today's FanFest. But never forget that even after it ends, we are still connected through the world of Final Fantasy XIV.
皆さんがファンフェスを楽しんでくださることを願っています。ですが、ファンフェスが終わっても私たちは14という世界でつながっています。そのことをぜひ忘れないでください。
And that world continues to grow and expand. So I hope we continue to pray and enjoy it together. Thank you!
ぜひ一緒
He
に
doesn't look any older than me.
この発展していく14を続けて遊んでいきましょう。
Thank you 桐生さんありがとうございました。じゃあまた後ほど。
See you again later.
聞きました。まだまだしばらくファイナルファンタジー14続けていいみたいなんで。
He seems to think it's cool if we keep continuing Final Fantasy XIV.
僕の命が尽きるまで、いや尽きたとしても、ファイナルファンタジー14続けていきたいと思います。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
And I do intend to continue until I die or perhaps even afterwards. So please stay with us.
No sending him to the far plane.
ちょっと基調講演に先立ってですね、皆さんにお礼を言わせてください。
And also, before I start the keynote, just let me give you a quick thank you.
改めてですね、旧ファイナルファンタジー14からそして新生14行月のフィナーレまで本当に皆さん長い長い旅路を我々と一緒に歩んでくださって本当にありがとうございます。
Thank you so much for taking this long, long journey with us from Final Fantasy 1.0 through ARR and then all the way to Endwalker. I'm so glad you did.
このようやく帰ってこれた物理開催のファンフェスティバルで拡張パッケージ黄金のレガシードーントレイルを皆さんに発表できて本当にほっとしてます。
It's such a relief, frankly, to finally be able to share Dawntrail with you guys in this live venue with all of us together.
本当にありがとうございます。
Thank you so much.
ではファンフェスティバルの開幕僕の基調講演からいよいよスタートしていこうと思います。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
And with that, we will finally begin FanFest with my keynote.
Some juicy stuff.
では先ほどお話ししました、発表したドーントレイルですが天野先生書き下ろしの新たなロゴテーマカラーはゴールドになってます。
So as you saw in the trailer, we have this wonderful new logo designed by Yoshitaka Amano. And our theme color this time, as in the Japanese title of Gilded Legacy, our theme color is gold.
I like it.
そしてですね発売予定は2024年来年の夏、お届けしたいと思います。
And as for that release date, this will be coming in summer of 2024.
まあ夏の
Get a week off.
できるだけ早い時期に出したいなとは思うんですけどまあ夏ちょっとね広めに覚えておいてもらえると助かります。
Truly, I really want to get this out as early in summer as possible, but please, for now, just remember summer generally, just in case.
では、簡単にですね今お話しできるストーリーについて軽く触れていきたいと思います。
So now, to the degree that I can, I'll tell you a little bit about the story.
Nice.
今回皆さん光の戦士にお届けするのは英雄への最高の夏休みと冒険です。
So what we want to bring to all of you warriors of light is the very best summer vacation a hero could possibly have.
まあちょっとね、エンドウォーカーからのこう落差が激しいんで。
I realize this is like a sudden change from the feeling of Endwalker.
ほら、皆さんね、惑星ハイデリンだけじゃなくて、ね、宇宙まで救ってくれたわけじゃないですか。だから皆さんにそろそろ休暇をお渡ししたいなと思ってます。
But I mean, you did save not only all of Heidelin, but kind of the whole universe, so we thought maybe we'd give you just a little break.
その新たなる冒険、そしてそのバカンスの目的地は新大陸と呼ばれているトラル大陸になります。
So the site of this vacation and a brand new adventure will be what you know as the New World, what we know as Tural.
光の戦士である皆さんはとある人物の来訪を受けます。
You Warriors of Light will be receiving a very special guest.
そしてそこで依頼されるのは新たなその新大陸の王を決める継承の儀というものへの助力です。
And that person will request your help in Tural's right of succession.
そのレースの目的が幻の黄金鏡というものが絡んでいると聞いた冒険者は一路この新大陸を目指すことになります。
Of course, as an adventurer, when you hear that this contest will somehow involve the legendary City of Gold, you will make your way to Tural.
あ、ごめん。
Yeah.
おなじみのメンバーもちろん勢ぞろいするんですが、
Of course, all of the team members you know and love will be there.
今回そこで繰り広げられるのはなんと暁を二分してのそれぞれの王位継承レースになります。
Except, you might find that this contest divides the Scions into two opposing groups.
さあ、誰が味方で誰がライバルチームになるのか、ぜひ楽しみにお待ちください。
Please look forward to finding out who will be your allies and who will be your rivals.
さあ、ちょっと聞いてみようかな。誰が仲間がいいですか？
Who's the smartest?
あ、ヤシトラが仲間がいい。どうかな。
Yastola?
そういえばグラハタコス食べてたの。
Yeah, Graha was eating a taco, wasn't he?
では続いてこの 7.0、黄金のレガシーの拡張テーマお話ししていこうと思います。
Let me just touch on the theme of Dawntrail a bit.
7.0 拡張のテーマはですね、ファイナルファンタジー14全体も含めた新たな冒険、その始まりになります。
So this is the beginning of a new journey for Final Fantasy XIV as a whole, and that is our theme, will be the journey of discovery that you will be on.
これまで Q14 から続いてきた行月のフィナーレまで描いたハイデリン・ゾディアーク編が完結しました。
As you know, the arc that we've been on from 1.0 through Endwalker about Heidelin and Zodiac has concluded.
その歩みから続く新しい新章のスタートだと思っていただいて構いません。
So you can think of this as our first step into a new story for Final Fantasy XIV.
Nice.
もちろん今回 7.0 だけでもストーリーもしっかり RPG1 本分の濃厚な体験をお届けしていきます。
Of course, just within 7.0 itself, we do plan to give you a story and experience worthy of a full RPG package title.
そのきっかけとなるさっきご紹介したその王位継承レースとは一体何なのか、どんなレースなのか。
So the impetus for this new story, this contest for the throne, what will that entail exactly?
そして新大陸トラルとはどんなエリア、どんな冒険が待っているのか。
And what sort of places and adventures are waiting in Tural?
そして黄金鏡、謎のキーワードですね。一体どんなものなのか。
And of course, we have these mysterious references to the city of gold. What is it really?
もちろんこれまで同様に皆さんに驚いてもらえる仕掛けもたくさんご用意してますので、ぜひご期待ください。
Of course, as we always do, we have a bunch of surprises prepared for you, so feel free to keep your expectations high.
長い間ですね、光の戦士をやってくださってる皆さんが、ファイナルファンタジー14チームが単なる夏休みをプレゼントするとは思ってないと思うんですよね。
Of course, our longtime warriors of light wouldn't believe us if we said that the development team was just going to give you a summer vacation, right?
もちろんどんな冒険になるのかぜひ楽しみにお待ちください。
So please look forward to finding out what this adventure has in store for you.
さあでは続いて新大陸トラルをちょっと見ていこうかと思います。
All right, so moving on, I'd like to talk a little bit about the new world, also known as Toral.
ここから新たな冒険の舞台となるそのトラルについて今お話しできる情報を、ここからしばらくまとめてお話ししていきます。
So for now, I've put together the information that I can share about this site of our upcoming adventure.
まずこれまで見てきたエオルゼアゼンズが更新されています。
So here is the map that we are used to, centered around Eorzea, and it has been updated.
これまで皆さんの冒険の舞台だったのはエオルゼアのあるアルデナード小大陸。
Of course, the site of our adventures thus far have included Aldenard, which has Eorzea.
そしてガレマール帝国があったイルサバード大陸。
And where Garlemald is located, Ilsabard.
そして東方東の国やドマがあるオサード小大陸を含めた三大州まででした。
And of course, the far eastern Othard with Hingashi and Doma, the three great continents thus far.
今回皆さんには西へ行っていただきます。
This time, however, we will be taking you far west.
今回ドーントレイルの冒険により活動地域は海を越えた西方に広がっていきます。
This new area that we'll be exploring in Dawntrail will be across the western seas.
というわけで皆さんが活躍すればするほど世界地図が更新されていくのがファイナルファンタジー14でございます。
Of course, the more we develop, the bigger the map gets. So let's go.
ではここまで全体像を触れてきたのでいよいよ中身を見ていこうと思います。
All right, so that was a general outline. So let's look a little more closely about the details.
今回の基調講演ちょっとまだね、開発中期初期ぐらいの間ぐらいなので動画は出ないんですがアートとかスクリーンショットなどでさまざまなポイントをご紹介していこうと思います。
Because we are still in the middle of development, we don't have videos for you today, but I will show you some concept art and screenshots to go along with my talk.
では冒険の舞台に関わるところから始めていきます。
Okay, let's start with some places we'll see on our adventure.
皆さんにプレイヤータウンご紹介しようと思います。
Okay, first, our new major hub city.
これまでイシュガルド、クガネ、クリスタリウム、オールドシャーレアンと増えてきました。このドーントレイルでどうなるか。
All right, so in our expansions thus far, we've increased these major cities. We started with Ishgard, we went to Kugane, the Crystarium, and Old Sharlayan. So where are we going this time?
こちらトラル大陸ヨカトラルと呼ばれる地域にあるトライオラというのが新たなプレイヤータウンとなります。
So our new major city is located in an area of Tural called Yok Tural, and it is called Tuliolal.
こちらそのアートワークなんですが天野先生のねロゴでもこの姿描かれてますね。
As you can see in this artwork, this is the silhouette that you've seen in Amano's logo for us.
これまでのタウン以上に異文化多民族という特徴があります。
This, more than the cities that you're used to, has an emphasis on diversity.
ではアートワークとスクリーンショットを使って街の様子少し見ていきましょう。
So let's take a look at some screenshots of what the town actually looks like.
これまでのタウンに比べると近代的というよりは自然との調和、それを重んじる多民族のイメージが強いです。
Okay, so unlike some other places we've been to, this place is not very industrialized because it is inhabited by myriad peoples who prioritize living with nature.
相当の2つの頭があるマムージャであるグルージャジャという非常に強く聡明な王によって統治されています。
It is currently ruled by a two-headed Mamulja named Gulul Jaja, who is known for being both strong and wise.
今回ですね 7.0 かなり新しいキャラクターどんどん登場してきます。鍵を握る一人なのでぜひ覚えておいてください。
So this is just one of them, but we will be introducing many characters in 7.0.
彼が座るこの玉座、この玉座に次に誰が座ることになるかというのを決めるのが王位継承レースということになります。
So the contest we've been talking about is actually the contest for the throne upon which he currently sits and deciding who will succeed him.
さてもちろんプレイヤータウン実はここだけじゃないです。非常に美しく一風変わった都市っていうのもあるんですが、ちょっとネタバレが強すぎるので今回はまだシークレットにさせてください。
Of course, this is not the only major city that you will visit. There's others, and we will have some very beautiful and quite unique vistas to show you in the future, but that would be spoilers, so not now.
じゃあスクリーンショットいきましょう。
All right, to the screenshots.
こちらトライアラの港になってます。グラフィックスアップデートの効果もあってですね、かなりオブジェクト数も、増加できて影の濃淡というのもうまく出せてるんじゃないかなと思います。
So this is Tuliolo's harbor, and as you can see, there's been some positive effects from the new graphics update, including more objects placed around than you would usually have, and a lot better shadows.
もう一枚いきましょう。
Here's another.
日中の港から少し奥へ進んだあたりですね、マーケットが立ち並んでます。
So this is a little bit further into town from the harbor, and this is the marketplace.
どんな商品がね取引されているのか、どんな民族が往来しているのかちょっと気になりますね。
All right, so what sort of people come here, and what do they trade for? I bet you want to know.
そして3枚目、こちら最後は夜のトライオラになってます。
And our third screenshot, this is a picture of Tuliyola at night.
かなり自然が多くてですね、異国へ来た感じというのを強く、強調してます。
As you can see, there's a lot of interesting nature, and the overall vibe is definitely different from any of the countries we've visited before.
光の戦士たちの夏休みというのがテーマなので、このトラル大陸泳げるところもたくさんありますので、街の中はねちょっと泳げないですけど、水着をぜひお忘れなく、新大陸へ向かってください。
It's quite suitable for summer vacation, as we've said, and though you cannot swim in the city itself, there are loads of places in Tyrol that you can swim, so maybe bring your bathing suit.
ちょっと月がね綺麗に浮かんでるんですけど、あの月ちょっとねまだ位置を調整してるんで、実際のタイミングであの場所に浮いてるかどうかまだ分かんないです。
The moon is looking really great in this screenshot, but I do have to mention that we haven't actually decided where the buildings are going to be replaced in respect to the moon yet, so it might look kind of different from this at the end.
じゃあ続いて、タウンの紹介したので新しいフィールド行きましょう。
Okay, so let's move on to some field areas.
ここからはですね、この新しい冒険の舞台となる新大陸トラル、そのフィールドを見ていこうと思います。
And these are, of course, located all in the New World, Tyrol.
こちらもアートワークとスクリーンショットでご紹介していきます。
Again, we will just be using artwork and screenshots to show you what we have.
まずはこちら、ヨカトラル地方のオルコパチャと呼ばれる、地域をご紹介します。
All right, so this is also located in Yokteral, and it is called Urkopacha.
このヨカトラルの山岳地帯、これがオルコパチャになります。
So this is a very mountainous region of Dawntrail.
ヨカトラルの中でも最も小柄な民族と、最も大柄な、民の集落が、点在しています。
And in these mountains are settlements belonging to Tyrol's both largest and smallest races.
かつてこの土地、巨人種族が支配する国の中心地であったんですが、今はその遺跡が残るのみになってしまっています。
So this whole area was once the center of an empire ruled by the gigantic race, but of course that empire now only exists in the form of ruins.
かなりね、自然があふれていて、そこに住まう人たちとうまくね、融合しているイメージになってます。
There's also plenty of nature that everyone is taking advantage of and living harmoniously with.
では、スクリーンショットいきましょう。
Screenshots.
Oh, look at the Ephraite.
こちらオルコパチャのとある集落です。
So this is a settlement in Urkopacha.
円形に山々が見えるんですが、この辺りの空気感の表現というのも今回かなり工夫してます。
You may notice that the atmosphere, that you can sort of see some stuff in the air around the mountains. We worked pretty hard to make that look good.
それから影の入り方とかね、その陰影にもぜひ注目してもらえると嬉しいです。
And if you could also turn your attention to the shadows and how well those are looking these days.
続いて同じ集落の正面図からの、スクリーンショットです。やっぱりね、ちょっと異文化の雰囲気よく出てますね。
So this is the same settlement from above, and you can definitely tell that it is home to a unique culture.
特にこの辺りの植物、左下の辺りは、今回のねグラフィックスアップデートで今までこういう植物作れなかったんで、いろいろね、世界観を広げるための工夫ができるようになりました。
And just really adding to the ambiance, we have these plants in the corner. We weren't able to make this kind of plants with the old graphics, so we're pretty excited to be able to add these features.
Ooh, fancy.
グラフィックスアップデートは後でお知らせしますね。
I will tell you more about the graphics update later.
Lovely.
そして3枚目、こちら雰囲気、それから質感にもぜひご注目ください。
Yes, so here's a third screenshot of the same place, and as you can see there's like a generally nice vibe here, and please take note of the quality of the textures.
テクスチャーにね、解像度も上がりましたね。
Look at those buildings. Look at them. Look at them.
いやー、今はね、日本もそれからラスベガスもめちゃくちゃ暑いので、この高地のちょっと涼しい感じ、羨ましいです。
Yeah, so both Japan and Las Vegas are super hot at the moment, so I'm really jealous of whoever lives here because it looks nice and cool.
暑いな。
Oh my god, I'm so hot.
じゃあもうちょっと奥見ていきましょう。
All right, let's go a little further into the continent.
今回こちらヤクテル樹海という場所ですが、14ね、いろんな森を描いてきましたが、今回もかなり独創的です。
Okay, so this is an area called XIV, and you know we have a lot of forests in game, but this is a very unique one.
このさっきご紹介したトライオラから気球に乗ってこのエリアへ到達することになります。
So from Tuliolol, where we were earlier, you can take a dirigible over here to XIV.
ここはですね、高レベル帯と低レベル帯2つのエリアに分かれています。
It's actually divided into a high-level area and a low-level area.
上層と下層でかなり雰囲気が異なりますので、ちょっとね期待しておいていただきたいです。
And between those areas, there's definitely a very different vibe for each. So look forward to finding out what that looks like.
あとは今テキストにもありますが、こちら天然の井戸とかセノーテと呼ばれる、泉なども非常に特徴的になってます。
And you can see, as we've written on the slide, but one of the primary characteristics of this place is it has underground wells and springs and cenotes.
ではスクリーンショット見ていきましょう。
Let's take a look at some screenshots.
こちらも夕暮れ。もうね、本当ね、もう嬉しくてみんな自然ばっかり作って
Right, so this is at sunset, and look, we were all so happy about the plants that we took so many nature screenshots.
ありがとうございます。まあなかなかねこの森の密度っていうのもこれまで出せなかったので楽しみにしていてください。
We've never been able to create such like a dense foliage in a forest before, so we're really excited for that.
こちらはですね今回食文化というものをかなり作り込んできてます。
So yeah, we've done a lot to put all of those different varieties in there.
こちらは上空から見たさっきのね集落エリアの雰囲気です。
And this is that same settlement we just saw, but from the sky.
まあ円形は深い霧に覆われていたり、昼と夜ね気候によって雰囲気が違って見えるはずです。
As you can see, we've got some fog, and the scenery changes quite a bit between day and nighttime.
ではここで、このトラル大陸に住まう新たな部族についてちょっと紹介させてください。
Okay, so now let's talk about one of the peoples that lives in Tural.
これまでね皆さんたくさんの部族に出会ってきたかと思います。
We sure have met many tribes so far.
本当なんでナマゾウが一番真ん中にいるのか。
Why does the Namazoo get to be in front?
もちろんドントレイルでも新たな部族との出会いたくさんあります。その一つを、今回ご紹介します。
So of course you will meet many peoples in Dawntrail, but we'll just talk about one of them today.
こちら名前をペルペル族と言います。 FF シリーズに詳しい方はあれって思ったかもしれません。
So these are the Pelu Pelu. If you're familiar with older Final Fantasy titles, they may be familiar to you.
ではちょっとだけ特徴をご紹介しましょう。
All right, so let me tell you about a few of their distinct characteristics.
オルコパチャに住まう、小柄な民族になってます。
So these are the diminutive people that we mentioned who live in Urkopacha.
で非常にねこの特徴的な仮面というのも、一つ大きな、特徴ですね。
They also wear these very unique masks.
そして非常に商売が得意なので、プレイヤーの皆さんねもしかしたらいろんなものを売りつけようとされるかもしれません。
They're also extremely skilled at trade, so they will probably try to sell you something.
そしてさまざまなごめんなさい戻しちゃったごめんなさい戻しちゃった戻しちゃったもう一個はい
One more? Yes, good.
さまざまな飲み物を、作る部族です。
Yes, and they're well known for their beverage making.
どんな活躍をしてくれるのか、そしてメインストーリー絡んでくるのか、楽しみに想像してみてください。
Yeah, so for now you'll have to just imagine for yourself what kind of role they might play in the main story and our adventure overall.
というわけで簡単ではありますが冒険の舞台であるトラル大陸その一部ご紹介しました。
Okay, so though that was very brief, that is a short introduction to Tural.
まあ明かせないね秘密もまだまだたくさんあるんですがすいませんフィールドなどの紹介は今回ここまでとさせてください。
Okay, so of course we still have many secrets that we have not yet shared, so please wait for future announcements of more areas and such.
では続いて 7.0 全体の概要についてお伝えしていきたいと思います。
Okay, now I would like to give an overview of all of our 7.0 content.
まあ全体像をね最初のファンフェスなのでお伝えするということで各項目どんどん進めていきたいと思います。
All right, we've got a lot to show because we always go over all of it, so let's just zoom on through here.
まず最初レベルキャップの解放です。
Of course, your level cap increase.
Let's go see well weird.
ついにレベルが3桁になりました。
We've reached the triple digits.
いやでもこれもやっぱり長くね続けてこれないとここまで来ないので本当に皆さんのおかげです。ありがとうございます。
Of course, if we hadn't been making the game for so long, we never would have gotten this far. So thanks to all of you.
もちろんですね、すべてのジョブに新しいアクション追加させていただきます。
Of course, we will also be adding new skills for all jobs.
もちろんクラフターもギャザラーもレベル100になります。
And of course, Crafter and Gatherer will also increase their level cap to 100.
さあ、レベルキャップが上がるということはこちらもあるはず。
Of course, when you increase the level cap, we also need
Yeah, baby. Gotta have new jobs.
新たなジョブを追加させていただきます。
we will be adding new jobs.
Love it.
で、今回もですね、2つジョブ足します。
As before, there will again be two.
Two jobs.
That's what they are. Even roll.
ちょっと待ってよ。ごめんごめん。今日は何のジョブかまだ言えません。
Okay, I'm really sorry, but I can't tell you what jobs they are today.
ちょっと聞いてみようかな。
All
何
right,
の
all
ジョ
right,
ブが
let's
いいです
ask.
か？
What jobs do you want?
なんかね、すごい声が大きくてね、何言ってるかちょっと聞こえないわ。
It's really hard to hear. なんかこの辺になんかブリッツボールすごく欲しい
こっちにも聞い
人がいる。
てみるか。ちょっと待って今回じゃあね、ロールだけお知らせします。ロールだけ。
Okay, that was very loud. Let me just tell you the roles.
He's getting naked, people. He's getting naked. You can't see him in the corner, but he's getting naked.
今回実装するのは2つのジョブとも DPS です。
Both jobs will be DPS.
Kind of wanted a tank, but
メレー DPS と
One melee DPS.
nice.
キャスターを追加します。
Ranged magical DPS.
ちょっと暑いから脱いでいいかな。
It's really hot. I gotta take off this overshirt.
So where's the pen and paper? Got to start thinking. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
なんでちょっと待ってなんでみんなわーってなってんの？
Why are you so excited?
さあどんなジョブがやってくるのか、さまざまな想像を働かせて楽しみにお待ちください。
So while you wait, just try to imagine what kind of jobs we might have in store.
子供の頃よく見てたんですよね。
Hope you can see this. I hope you can see well.
さあ次行きます
Don't need
よ
a。big stick.
All right, let's move on.
バトルコンテンツに関してです。
This is about our core battle content.
まずこれら基礎バトルコンテンツっていうのは今回も変わりなく実装させていただきます。
Of course, all of our fundamental battle content is still there.
そしてですね、新たなダンジョンというのもこれまで通り同じボリュームでしっかり楽しんでいただけるように準備中です。
Of course, we are preparing as many new dungeons as you've come to expect.
まあちょっとねまだ
Can't think of anything for the job.
めちゃくちゃ開発中なので今回のファンフェスではねダンジョンのスクリーンショットとか出せないんですけど、 まためちゃくちゃいろんなパターンのバリエーション作ってますんで、次のファンフェスではね多分お伝えできるんじゃないかなと思います。
Okay, these are still mega super under development, so we can't show you any screenshots today, but we do have a lot of unique and different dungeons coming, and hopefully we can share them with you at the next FanFest.
ただね、どんな敵と戦うかぐらいはちょっとね教えてほしいんじゃないかなと。
We can tell you a little bit of who you will be fighting, though.
まあ新たな冒険の大陸、そして新たなエリアがあれば新たな強敵との出会いというのもあるかと思います。
Of course, we're going to a new continent. We have new areas, so there's going to be new enemies to face off against.
まあもちろん今回いつも通りノーマルとハードちゃんとどっちもね実装しますので、ぜひ楽しみにしてください。
And of course, as always, we will be preparing normal and hard versions of these encounters.
その一つだけ、ボス1個だけね、何にもないとちょっと何もないのかよってなっちゃうんで、アート一つ持ってきたのでご紹介します。
I would feel bad if I didn't show you anything, so we've brought out one piece of artwork of one of these new bosses.
幻獣バリガルマンダ、
The legendary Valigarmanda.
そしてまあ幻獣とはねちょっと何なのか、期待しててほしいなと。
What sort of legends does this ominous beast play a part in? Well, you'll see.
まあどういった形でね相対するのか、王位継承レースにね関係してくるのか、さてどうなるのでしょう。
I wonder how it will relate to the contest that we're participating in.
では続いてコンテンツサポーター、こちらも、確実にアップデートしていきます。
And yes, of course, we will also be bringing updates to duty support.
Nice.
今回もですねメインクエスト、対象となるダンジョンに関しては必ず対応されています。
Of course, we can promise that there will be duty support for all dungeons involved in the main story.
でそれ以外にもですねこのコンテンツサポーターいろんなアップデートをするんですが、ちょっとねストーリーに関わるのであんまり詳しく言えないです。
We also have some new plans for places that we can implement duty support and what we can do with it, but it is too related to the story for us to give you details.
ただ、but
God damn it.
今回、まあ暁の決明とねいろいろコンテンツサポーターやってきたと思いますが、複数の新しいメンバーというのがコンテンツサポーター登場していきますので、その新しいキャラクターたちとの共闘というのを楽しみにしておいてください。
But I can tell you, so far we've been really focused on the Scions in duty support naturally, but we will be debuting a number of new characters for duty support.
Fancy.
もちろんですね、新しいギアとかレシピというのも大量にクラフターギャザラーさんに向けて、実装させていただきます。
Of course, there will be plenty of new gear and recipes for crafters and gatherers.
まあ今回ね結構新大陸行くので渋めが多いかなとは思います。
I mean, you're going to a whole new continent, so you'll have a lot to do.
Yay.
そして今回 6.X シリーズでやってきたように、無人島開拓実装してきました。
So as in 6.0, where we implemented Island Sanctuary,
今回パッチ 7.X シリーズではそれに続く新しい大規模生活系コンテンツを、展開していく予定です。
in the 7.x series, we are planning to implement some sort of content in the same vein.
こちらもですね企画は進行してるんですけど、あとねちょっとお見せするにはもうちょっと時間かかるので、次回をちょっとお待ちください。
We are proceeding with our plans here, but we don't have any screenshots yet, so we'll have to wait for next time for those.
そしてもちろんダンジョン以外のコンテンツというのも引き続きやっていきます。
Naturally, we have a lot of content that's outside of our standard dungeons.
特にですね新しく加えたバリアントダンジョンに関しては 7.X シリーズでもどんどん継続していきます。
We will, of course, continue the variant dungeons that we began implementing in 6.x in 7.x as well.
いろんなタイプのねプレイヤーの皆さんに楽しんでいただけるアライアンスレイドシリーズもいよいよ新シリーズが 7.1 からかな開幕します。
And from 7.1, we will have a new Alliance Raids series for all sorts of players to enjoy.
エオルゼア12神をテーマにした今ミス・オブ・エオルゼア非常に好評いただいてます。
So Myths of the Realm featuring the 12 has been very, very highly appraised.
次のシリーズはよりファイナルファンタジーらしいテーマで皆さんに驚きも含めてお届けの予定となっています。
That being the case, our next Alliance raid will be even more Final Fantasy-ish.
さてどんなシリーズになるのかあれこれ予想しながらお待ちください。
What will it be? Think about it in the meantime before we reveal it.
No idea.
そして先日のパッチ 6.4 で完結したパンデモニウムに続いて新たな8人レードというのももちろん、7.0 からスタートしていきます。
And from 7.0, obviously we have finished off Pandemonium, so we will be implementing a new 8-player raid as well.
そしてね最高難度を誇る Z シリーズについても新たなコンテンツをお届けしていきます。
And there will be new Ultimates as well.
そしてもちろん PVP のアップデートというのもどんどん続けていきます。
We will also, of course, be continuing to update PvP.
今回のファンフェスでも各リージョンの最強チームを決めるね大会開催されます。
At this very fan fest, we will be deciding the best team in each region.
クリスタルコンフリクトのアップデートとさらなるね盛り上げだけじゃなくてフロントラインやライバルウィングズの調整そしてフロントラインに新しいマップ新ルールの追加など継続的にアップデートを続けていきたいと思います。
Of course, we will be bringing new updates to Crystal and Conflict, but we will also be updating Frontline and Rival Wings with new maps for Frontline.
About time.
では言っておかないとですねあれどうなったこれどうなったってなるのでこの先 7.0 でもどんどんアップデートしていきますよっていうコンテンツの一覧ちょっとお伝えしていきます。
And of course, I have many other things that I need to just really get out there quickly, so let's go.
まず
Hildebrand. Yay.
青魔同士のアップデートも
Deep
継続してやっていきますし帰ってきたヒルディブランドも 7.x シリーズさらに活躍してくれそうです。
All right, we will of course continue to update Blue Mage, and Hildebrand will also be back in 7.x doing something.
Dying, hopefully.
それからですねディープダンジョンに関しても新しい企画が進行してます。でもちろん、他のバトルコンテンツというのも検討していきますので新しいコンテンツの開発というのもしっかり力を入れていきたいと思います。
So we are currently considering new plans for Deep Dungeons, but at the same time we are also considering brand new battle content plans as well.
ゴールドソーサーアップデートももちろん 7.x シリーズ続けるんですがそういえば 6.x シリーズゴールドソーサー大きなアップデートないんじゃない
So of course we're going to update the Gold Saucer in 7.x, but wasn't there some kind of update coming in 6.x as well?
No Blitzball
No, it's not Blitzball.
ちょっと今日後でお話します。
But I will tell you about it later today.
まあこの基調講演で話すからちょっと待ってね。
I want Blitzball.
Even in this very keynote, I will tell you about it. So just wait just a sec.
さて各種コンテンツアップデートまあとにかくいろんなものをこれまで通りたくさんどんどん継続してアップデートしますよってお知らせさせていただいたのでここからは、システム的なアップデートというのをお伝えしていこうと思います。
Okay, so we've gone over how we will be continuing to update content as we always do at as quick a pace as we can. So now let's look at some more system side updates.
そのシステムのアップデート
Oh.
Here's our most major system update.
皆さんが本当に楽しみにしてくださっている第一次グラフィックスアップデートのその途中報告をさせてください。
All right, so I know you're all really looking forward to our first graphical update, so I wanted to give you a bit of info about where we are with that.
ちょっとその前にこのグラフィックスアップデートのコンセプトっていうのをちょっとおさらいさせてください。
But first, let me explain a little bit about our philosophy behind this update.
ファイナルファンタジー14は、スタンドアローンのシングルゲームではないので、単純なやっぱりキャラクターとかオブジェクト単体じゃなくて総合的な画面全体というのの美しさを、アップグレードしていくっていう方針にしています。
All right, so Final Fantasy XIV is not a standalone title, so we don't feel that it's sufficient to upgrade the looks of the characters or certain objects on their own. We really want to take a unified approach and prioritize the aesthetics of the screen overall.
キャラクター、オブジェクト、それから影については高解像度化することでもう単純に綺麗になります。
Of course, by making improvements to characters, objects, and shadows, everything will just get overall prettier.
シェーダーアップデートをしてですね、金属、こういう金属ですね、マテリアルについては質感が大幅に向上します。
And with shader updates, materials such as metal will look a lot more realistic.
ただし、ファイナルファンタジー14はですね、新生からもう10年、今年10周年にわたって皆さんに本当に長く愛していただいている作品です。
Of course, Final Fantasy XIV is also a game that's been going on for 10 years, and we have a lot of players who know and love the game as it is.
とにかく皆さんが操作するキャラクター、そのイメージを壊さないように大切にしていくべきだっていうふうに考えてます。
So we're really putting a lot of priority on not changing the image you have of your own character in your head. We want to make sure your characters still look the way that you enjoy them now.
ですので皆さんのねキャラクターが大きくイメージ変わってしまうことのないようにしっかり注意を払ってフォトリアルではない方向でしっかりアップデートを今進めています。
So we are really taking care to make sure that you don't see your updated character and think, oh, that's not what I thought it would look like at all.
では進捗についてね僕が口でずっと説明するより動画を見ていただいた方が早いかなと思います。
But it honestly might be better to just show you rather than continuing to talk.
注意点です。
One thing.
これあくまで途中経過の報告なので細部のクオリティはもっと上がると思ってください。
Okay, so please, when you see this, know that this is still under development. So for the final version, you can expect even higher quality.
まずはキャラクターがどう変わっていくのかというところをちょっとご覧いただこうと思います。
All right, first let's take a look at what characters are going to look like.
それではどうぞ。
Play the video.
Is this the before and after? It's easy to tell then. That's quite a change. Big change.
まあ、かなり皆さんのキャラクターのイメージが崩れないように徹底的に注意をしながら、作ってまいりました。
So we really did take care to make sure that we weren't changing your overall impressions of the characters.
まあキャラクターで目立つのはやっぱりこう髪の毛のテクスチャー解像度の増加による鮮明さとか、あと眼球のリアリティアップ、あと肌の質感の向上みたいなところですかね。
I think the major points there is the improved hair texture, as well as the more realistic eyes and the beautiful skin that we now have.
ただ皆さんのやっぱりねキャラクターに対するイメージ愛情っていうのをとても大切にしたいと思っているので、とにかく慎重に、作業を進めてます。
But as we proceed, we will continue to bear in mind the vision you already will have had for your own characters.
またさっきね紹介したナイトの、6.0 のジョブ装備について今回ねテストケースで対応してるんですが。
So as you saw in the video, as sort of a test, we upgraded some Paladin job gear from 6.0.
とにかくものすごい数のギアが14存在しているので、7.1 以降も順次いろんな装備をアップデートすることになっているので、一気に全部変わるわけじゃないので、そこだけですねぜひご理解いただけると助かります。
But one thing I want you all to bear in mind is the fact that this game has an incredible amount of gear in it. So we won't be able to just dump it all at once in 7.0. We will continue to upgrade more and more gear sets throughout 7.x.
またもう一つなんですけど、
One more thing.
NPC たちもすごい綺麗になるんですけど。
The NPCs as well, they will get a lot prettier.
なんかめちゃめちゃ綺麗になるやつとまだ綺麗にならないやつがこういたりするんで、ちょっとしばらくは許してください。
But this is also affected by the fact that we need to update this on an ongoing basis. So for a little bit of time, we may have a situation where you have like one really shiny, nice person and one sort of, oh, I didn't get updated person.
もうねなんかねテレジアデレジとかはね綺麗にならなくてもいいんですけど。
Can we just leave Telegy Adelgy as he is, like whatever?
でもあいつプレイヤーの皆さんと同じアセットで組まれてるからあいつはね綺麗になっちゃうんです。
Unfortunately, no, he will get prettier because he uses the same assets as the player characters.
なので 7.0 からの新しいエリアとか新しいキャラクターは全部対応していきます。で 2.0 からの主要 NPC プレイヤーキャラクターを優先してやっていくので、逆に 7.0 と 2.0 の序盤からこうだんだん狭まってくるみたいなイメージでアップデートしていく予定です。
So for the time being, of course, all these graphic updates will be applied to the new areas, new characters in 7.0, and we're also going to go back and apply them to areas and characters from 2.0, and then we'll sort of close in on the middle expansions from there.
でもちろんねいろんな装備順次対応していきますので、その点だけご承知おきください。
But we will be continuing to update the gear, so please just be patient with us.
次なんですけど、今度はねマップ、もうねスクリーンショット出てますがマップを見ていきたいと思います。
And I'd like to take a look at the map areas as well, if we can look at the screenshot.
マップはですねライティングの違いと、それから今あるこのメタルオブジェクト系の違いというところが、分かっていただけるかと思います。
So from this picture, I think you can see that when you're walking around, generally you'll find like better quality materials such as metals.
こちらも動画用意しますので早速見ていこうと思います。
But we do have a video for this as well, so let's take a look at that.
よーく見てくださいね。 マップに関してはですね、メモリのこれまで制限というのを緩和したことによってオブジェクトの配置数というのもこれまで以上に格段に増やせるようになりました。
So up until now, we did have memory limitations that were preventing us from putting a lot of objects in these different areas, but we've gotten a bit of an increase there, so we can have more stuff per area.
これらもですね、優先的に新しいエリアから対応させていただきます。
As with the other stuff, we will be adding these upgrades for the 7.0 content first, and then moving on to the rest.
ですので 7.0 のエリアは既存のエリアより格段に綺麗です。
So then you'll notice that the 7.0 areas are kind of prettier than the previous areas.
ただしその手前の旧エリアに関しても影とかそれからライティングは自動的に全て変更されることになります。
But in the old areas, things like the shadow improvements and lighting will be automatically applied, so you will still see some improvement there to start with.
オブジェクト数をね増やすのはちょっと作業コスト的に当面手がかけれないとは思うんですが、今まで以上に美しく見えるようになるのは間違いありません。
It will take some time to add those extra objects we're talking about, but in terms of appearance, it still will look better.
では最後、実は開発チームカットシーンセクションとかが一番喜んでいる、植物、自動生成ものの植物についてちょっと見ていきたいと思います。
Okay, so now moving on to the thing that the development team is most excited about, particularly the cutscene team, that is plants and our auto-generated greenery.
こちらもですね動画ご用意してあります。映像の中でね比較が出たりするのでちょっと見比べながらご覧いただければと思います。
So we do have a video again for this, so please take a close look and compare what we have.
どうぞ。
100 times better. Pretty.
もうさっきの動画の最後の方でこう右下ぐらいに草がアップになってたと思うんですが、
So I think you might have seen the grass in the bottom right-hand side of the video.
ね、皆さんもねスクリーンショットを撮ろうとしたらなんかすごいジャギジャギの草ここにいるみたいに。
And if you have that kind of grass, as you know, when you try to take a screenshot, you're like, oh, that's there.
まあそういうのはなくなるのでスクリーンショットを撮りやすくなるんじゃないかなと思います。
But we won't have that problem anymore, so I think your screenshots will be a lot easier to take from now on.
ただこのアップデート自動的にねこうシステムで、植えるこう草花のアップデートなので。
So this update will actually be automatically applied through the system.
残念ながらブドウのポリゴン数は自動的に増えたりはしないんですけどね。
Except, you know, unfortunately, we can't also automatically increase the poly count that is available in this game.
そこグレープって言ってもらわないと。
Grapes, grapes. We must mention the grapes.
そう。オートマチックでグレープのポリゴンは増えないって。
I just need you to know that we cannot give any more polygons to the grapes.
ではこれグラフィックスアップデートって何も画面の美しさだけが上がるわけじゃなくて、このグラフィックスアップデートによってさらに得られるちょっとシステム面の アップグレードをちょっとこの後ご紹介したいと思います。
Okay, but with these graphic updates, it's not just that things are getting prettier. We also have some system-based improvements that are coming because of this.
このグラフィックスアップデートに得られる最初の大きなポイント、染色システムアップデートさせていただきます。
So probably the biggest benefit you're going to see from this graphic updates is an update to the dye system.
これまでも非常に多かった染色箇所を増やしてほしいなっていうフィードバックなんですが、
For a while, we've been getting a ton of feedback from people saying, I really want to be able to dye more parts of my gear.
2箇所まで
Now that is sick. $2 per gear.
2箇所まで染色できるようになります。
So now we have upgraded it so that you will be able to apply 2 dyes per gear piece.
でちょっと一部のハウジングアイテムなどは難しいんですが、できる限り多くの装備アイテムで、染色箇所を2箇所にね増加させていただきます。
We may not be able to apply this to certain housing items, ones that are particularly difficult, but we will try to apply it to as much gear as we possibly can.
That is sick.
こちらについてはですね 7.0 リリースのタイミングで全てのアイテムに対応するのはちょっと難しいんですが、できるだけ多くのアイテムを 7.0 で対応して対応が間に合わなかったものは順次アップデートで、複数染色箇所対応していこうと思いますので、こちら順次もねこれもアップデートされると思っていただけると助かります。
Okay, so as before, we will try to implement as many of these items in 7.0 as we can so they can be upgraded, but we probably will not get to all of them. So if your favorite gear has not been upgraded yet, know that it will be upgraded in 7.x. It's coming.
そして続いてもですね、こちらもご要望多かったものです。
Next, we have another thing that we've gotten a lot of requests for.
メガネを頭装備をつけるとメガネがかけれない、メガネをかけると頭装備が消えるっていうのがこれまでだったんですけど、7.0 からできるだけ7.0 間に合わせる予定で今進んでますが、メガネをですね頭装備つけたままメガネつけられるようになります。
Okay, so until now it was the situation where if I want to wear a helmet, I can't wear eyeglasses. If I want to and then I put anything on my head and there's no glasses and it's tragic. So we will do our best to make sure this is implemented in 7.0 so that you will be able to wear headgear and glasses at the same time.
皆さんの中でですね、8人レイドとかゼツとかよく言ってるよっていう人どれぐらいいます？
How many of you frequently play 8-man raids or ultimates?
Never.
結構いますね。
Wow, there's a lot.
メガネを装備するっていうことはやばい、新しいアクセサリー増えるのかしらって思うかもしれません。
So those folks might be thinking, oh no, does that mean I need to have more accessory problems?
今回実装させてもらうメガネはあくまでファッションアイテムって扱いにするのでパラメータとかは一切ないですし、あまりチェストを使うようなこともないので、ただペーパードールからね装備できるようにはしますので、そこは安心してください。
So for these new glasses, while you will be able to equip them on your character like gear, system-wise they are not treated like gear. They will not take up space in your armory chest, so do not worry.
So they're taking all the glasses out of the
そしてシステム的なアップデートもう一つ、こちらはですねすみません 7.0 ではないんですが今 7.x のどっかでアップデートできるように頑張ってる機能です。
Okay, this last one we'll not be able to implement in 7.0, but we are going to plan it for 7.x.
大変お待たせしていますが
Sorry for the long wait.
なんとかですねハウジングにおける、家具の配置数の増加というのを現在作業中でございます。
We are currently working on increasing the furnishing limit.
なんとかね 7.x で、達成できる見込みですのでぜひですねハウジングやってるよっていう方
Oh, who uses housing here?
すいません本当にお待たせしました。
I'm really sorry we made you wait this long.
そんな皆さんにですね、ぜひもうちょっと待ってもらえれば、お届けできるようにね今サーバーチーム頑張ってますのでもう少々お待ちください。
All right, but the server team is really trying their best, so please just be patient for a little while longer and you'll have your extra furnishings.
ただですねグラフィックスアップデートをするとですねどうしても、それと同時にお伝えしなければならないことがあります。
Unfortunately, because we are doing a graphics update, we do need to tell you some important news that goes along with that.
動作環境変わります。
The system requirements are changing.
大丈夫です少しで
It's only a little bit though.
こうなります。
These are the new specs.
左側が必
That's
須
quite a boost.
動
That's
作
quite a
環境
jump.
もう最低でも
I
これ
don't
揃え
have
てくだ
that
さいです
CPU
On the
either.
left is the bare minimum that
8700K.
you need to play the game.
で、
And I have
我々としては右側をおすすめしたいなっていう感じです。
On the right is what we personally think would be ideal.
で Mac 版はすいませんまだ検証途中なので、固まったらまたお知らせさせていただきます。
As for the Mac stuff, we're still trying to figure out the details on that, so we will let you know as soon as we can.
プレイステーション4版はそのまま継続サポートさせていただきますので心配はしなくて大丈夫です。
But you don't need to worry about PS4. We will continue to support that.
Wow, PS4 still going.
ただし
However,
16も出たんだからそろそろいいんじゃないかなって PS5 買いましょうよ。
yeah, but you know, FF16 is out, so if you were thinking of getting a PS5, now's the time.
ちなみに皆さん大丈夫そうですか PC の環境。
Are you guys going to be okay? Do these requirements look okay?
まあいろんなね他のゲームを PC で楽しむためにもまあ普通これぐらいあっても十分かなと思うので、まあできるだけねあまり超強力な PC じゃないと動かないみたいなことはしないつもりなのでぜひ来年の夏までに、スペックちょっと足りないなという方は、パーツの、買い替えだったり、PC の買い替え自体を検討していただけると助かります。
So we don't want to force everyone to get like a super high spec PC, but we do think that if you upgrade to this level, it'll also help you in playing other games as well. So those of you who need to, if you could, consider upgrading your system by next summer, that would be fantastic.
システム的なアップデートちょっとあと1枚だけ小ネタスクリーンショットがあるので、紹介して終わろうかと思います。
Okay, one more quick system update that we have a screenshot for.
So can you actually explain mechanics?
これまあグラフィックスアップデートそのものではないんですけどちょっと面白いものを作ってますという報告です。
So this isn't related to the graphics update, but we thought it was cool, so we'll share it.
まだ UI もね全然仮の状態なんですが皆さんがゲームの中でコンテンツ攻略などを打ち合わせできるようにホワイトボード機能というのを制作中です。
Okay, so this UI is not final, but fundamentally this is an online whiteboard style feature that will allow you to meet up and discuss your plans when you're challenging various duties.
ファイナルファンタジー14で本当に君ら一体何作ってんのみたいな機能たくさんあるんですけど、それら、とにかく皆さんがゲームを楽しむための新しい遊び、それをサポートする機能というのもどんどん 7.x シリーズでも作っていきますので、どうぞお楽しみにしててください。
You know, Final Fantasy XIV has a lot of features that might make you think like, well, that's a weird choice to add. But on 7.0, we also do want to focus on those features that you will all find useful. So hopefully you will enjoy what we have in store.
さて、気象公演もちょっとね終わりに近づいてきたんですが、今日お話しできる 7.0 や 7.x シリーズに関する内容はこれくらいです。
Okay, so we're closing in on the end here, and that is all I can share with you about 7.0 for now.
ただし、もちろんねこの後パッチ 6.5 とかそれに続くアップデートがあるので、こちら。
But we do have some updates still to come in 6.5.
その 7.0 に至るまでにパッチ 6.x シリーズで今後大きなものいろいろあるので、それをお知らせさせていただこうと思います。
So there's plenty of interesting stuff to come in the time before 7.0 is released. So I wanted to really quickly go over some of that.
まずはフリートライアルのアップデートをさせていただきます。
First, we are expanding the free trial.
現在のフリートライアル、新生オルゼアから蒼天と石ガルドパッチ 4.0 の直前までなんですが、
The current free trial goes from A Realm Reborn to the end of Heavensward right before 4.0.
パッチ 6.5 リリースと同時にグレンのリベレーター、つまりパッチ 5.0 の直前まで拡大させていただきます。
But with 6.5 release, this will be expanded to include all Stormblood up till right before Shadowbringers.
ぜひですね 7.0 の新しい冒険のスタートに備えて、たくさんの14の魅力というのをいろんな人に触れてもらうためにですね、今後もフリートライアル拡張を続けていきたいと思ってます。
Since we are starting on this new adventure, we thought it would be a really great time to bring more people, let them see the charms of Final Fantasy XIV. So we will continue to expand from here.
ぜひ皆さんのご友人ご家族でまだ14触れてないぞという方がいたらですね、ぜひこのフリートライアル、拡大でですねおすすめしていただけると大変嬉しいです。
If you still have friends or family who haven't played 14, if you could just nudge them in this direction, that'd be great. Thank you.
Please. さあ次のニュースはちょっと変わってます。
All right, the next news is a little bit different.
動画を先にご覧いただこうと思います。
Let's start with the video.
というわけでフォールガイズとコラボレーションさせていただきます。
So as you may have gleaned from that, we are doing a collaboration with Fall Guys.
まずご覧いただいたのはフォールガイズの世界にファイナルファンタジー14のキャラクターやデザインが登場するようになります。
So what you've just seen is Final Fantasy XIV characters and designs coming to Fall Guys.
フォールガイズにですね、ウォーリアーズ・オブ・ライト・フェイムパスというのが登場します。
And they will be debuting the Warriors of Light Fame Pass.
こちらはですね、8月22日から10月3日まで、14のキャラクターコスチュームとかエモート、ビクトリーなどが、アイテム入手できるようになるそうです。
Okay, so from August 22nd, you'll be able to get this, and it will have all sorts of costumes and emotes and such.
パッチ 6.5 リリースまでの間ですね、ぜひこれを機会にフォールガイズもプレイしてみてください。
So, since we have the opportunity, you might want to check out Fall Guys between now and the release of 6.5 if you haven't already.
そして思ったでしょ、なんだフォールガイズ側に行くのかって。
And of course, are you a little disappointed? Are you thinking, well, what, are we just going to Fall Guys?
でもクロスオーバーですよ。
It's a crossover.
というわけですいません、まだ絶賛開発中なので今みたいな動画ではちょっと出せないんですが、スクリーンショット持ってきました。
And so, of course, it's coming to 14. We are still in development, so we don't have a video of this, but we do have some screenshots.
なんかね、光の戦士たちですけど、ちょっと雰囲気違いますね。
These Warriors of Light are having a bit of a different time than usual.
Is that the new PvP? The Gold Saucer? I didn't read.
ファイナルファンタジー14のゴールドソーサーにフォールガイズが疑似体験できるコンテンツを実装します。
So we will be implementing some Fall Guys-esque content into the Gold Saucer.
こちら最大24人で同時プレイ可能となる予定で現在絶賛開発中です。
So we are planning to make this content playable by up to 24 players at once. So that's currently in development.
That's quite cool.
せっかくね凝ったコラボレーションならということでできる限りの再現にこだわってみました。
I mean, since we had this opportunity, we really tried our best to make the most of it.
フォールガイズチームの皆さんありがとうございます。
And a big thank you to the Fall Guys team as well.
正式なパッチターゲットは調整中ですが、パッチ 6.5X 期間中にゴールドソーサーにてプレイ可能な予定です。
We're not sure the details of exactly what minor patch it's going to be in, but it will come in 6.5X.
ぜひぜひですね、こちらも楽しみにお待ちください。
Please look forward to it.
さて、この 6.5X 中に、アップデートする重要なお知らせなんですけど、この基調講演あと1個大きなお知らせが残ってます。
Okay, we just have one last important announcement about what's coming during 6.5X for the keynote.
その大きな発表の前に超特別なスペシャルゲストをお呼びさせてください。
But before we make that announcement, I would like to bring in a very special guest.
僕の長きにわたる友人でもあり、そしてご自身が熱心なね、ファイナルファンタジー14のファンでもあります。
This is my longtime friend and fellow Final Fantasy XIV fan,
フィル・スペンサー。改めましてマイクロソフトゲーミング CEO のフィル・スペンサーさんです。ぜひ大きな拍手をお願いします。
I am pleased to welcome the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, Mr. Phil Spencer. A round of applause for him.
Because we want our own
フィルさん、本
servers.
当にお忙しい中、ようこそお越しくださいました。
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here today.
そうここにフィルさんに登場していただいたということはそうです。
And well, the fact that Phil is here means
世界中からご要望いただき本当に辛抱強くお待ちいただいて本当にありがとうございます。
we have received requests for this from all over the world, so we are really happy to present this today.
ファイナルファンタジー14 Xbox バージョンがついに登場します。
Final Fantasy 14 for Xbox.
これによってですね、ファイナルファンタジー14のコミュニティはより強くさらに拡大していくと思ってます。
Because of this, the 14 community will expand and become even stronger.
ではフィルさん、せっかくなのでぜひ配信を見てる人たちもたくさんいるので、世界中の光の戦士とファンの皆さんに一言お願いします。
Phil, can I ask you for a few words to all of the Warriors of Light and fans around the world?
Absolutely. Hey everyone, it's great to be here with so many Warriors of Light. Thank you for the very warm welcome.
もちろんです。皆さんこんにちは。たくさんの光の選手たちと同じ場所にいられて本当に光栄です。温かく迎えてくれてありがとうございます。
The Xbox community is passionate about games, and like so many players around the world, the Final Fantasy series is one that gets lots of love from Team Xbox.
Xbox コミュニティは世界中の多くのプレイヤーと同じようにゲームに対してとても情熱があり、ファイナルファンタジーシリーズはそんなプレイヤーたちにとても愛されています。
And we're very happy to announce the Xbox version of Final Fantasy 14 with my friend Yoshida-san here today.
今日ここで私の友人でもある吉田さんと Xbox 版の14を発表できることを本当に嬉しく思います。
Together with his team, we are bringing the best online experience of this game to Xbox fans everywhere. And through crossplay, you can experience Final Fantasy 14 with old and new players alike.
吉田さんのチームと一緒に私たちは世界中の Xbox ファンに最高のオンライン体験を届けたいと思っています。そしてクラスプラットフォームプレイを通じて新旧のファイナルファンタジー14のプレイヤーの皆さんと一緒に本作を体験してもらいたいです。
フィルさんありがとうございます。 Thank you, Phil. で僕からぜひね皆さんにも伝えさせていただきたいんですけど、本当にこの Xbox 版のファイナルファンタジー14を開発中、フィルさんと僕は本当に直接コミュニケーションを取る機会がこれまでたくさんありました。
So I wanted to mention that during the extensive development of the Xbox version of Final Fantasy 14, Phil and I had the opportunity to communicate directly a lot.
この Xbox バージョンの実現に向けてさまざまなサポート、そして最もたくさんの努力を直接していただきました。
We really received so much support from you, and what can you tell our Warriors of Light about your hopes for the finished game?
ぜひですね Xbox その光の選手たち、楽しみにしてると思うんですけど、完成したゲームの期待値、何かこう伝えたいことってありますか？
Do you have some words for our Warriors of Light here?
Yeah, what I really appreciate about you and your team is you put the player at the center of everything that you do. It couldn't be more clear than watching your presentation today. At Xbox, we share a very similar spirit when it comes to our players.
そうですね。吉田さんと吉田さんのチームについて私が本当に感心しているのは常にプレイヤーを体験や全てのことの中心に置いていることです。もう今回の基調講演で拝見させていただきましたけれども、本当にそれを感じました。 Xbox でも同じようなスピリットをプレイに対して持っているつもりです。
And we're really inspired by how you have made Final Fantasy 14 with all of you a global success. And we want to bring the Xbox community and your Warriors of Light together in a way that is safe, secure, and engaging, and above all, fun.
なので私たちは皆さんが FF14 を世界的な成功に導いていることに刺激を受けていますし、 XBOX コミュニティと光の選手たちが皆安心安全に、そして何よりも楽しく遊べるようにしたいと思っています。
And we also see this as a seminal moment in our relationship with you and the Final Fantasy team as we look to partner more closely together in the future.
今日この場で吉田さんとファイナルファンタジーチームとこうやって話せるのは本当に重要な瞬間だと思っていますし、これからより一層連携していることを期待しています。
はい、とてもとにかくね光栄です。本当にありがとうございます。
I'm so honored. Thank you, Phil.
ご存知の通り、僕実はめっちゃ XBOX ファンで、フィルさんもね14の大ファンなんですが。
So you know, I've been a big Xbox fan, and you said you're a big 14 fan.
これまで本当にどうやってこういけば XBOX のファンにファイナルファンタジー14届けられるか、本当にたくさんの意見交換してきました。
We've exchanged so many ideas about how we can make the best 14 available to Xbox fans.
だから僕はもう本当に友人としてで、この本当に XBOX 版を実現するためにどれだけ尽力してもらったかっていうのを一番知ってるのが僕なので、とにかくこのラスベガスのファンフェスにフィルさんに参加してほしかった。
As a friend, and because you've worked so hard to bring the Xbox version to fruition, I really wanted you to take the stage here at Las Vegas Fan Fest.
なので皆さんの前でね一緒に発表できることを本当に嬉しく思ってます。
So I'm really happy to present this in front of you all with everyone here together.
ではせっかくなのでフィルさんと一緒にその XBOX 版少し詳細見てみましょう。
So, since we're here, let's take a closer look at the Xbox version with Phil.
まずその詳細なんですが、Xbox シリーズ X そして S 両方のプラットフォームでプレイ可能です。
So, as far as the hardware goes, it can be played on Xbox Series XS, so both platforms.
そして高速ロードもちろん対応させていただいてます。
Of course, we can guarantee even higher quality play with faster loading.
さらにシリーズ X では 4K 対応をしてさらに高品質なプレーをお約束します。
Also, the Series X will have 4K support, so even higher quality.
そして気になるリリース時期ですが、
as for the release window, I'm sure you're all wondering.
リリース時期は2024年春になります。
That will be spring of 2024.
拡張パッケージ 7.0 の前、パッチ 6.5X 運営中にオープンベータテストを行います。
And before the release of 7.0, during patch 6.5X, we will be having the open beta.
そのまま安定性を見て正式サービスへと進めていきますので、ぜひご期待ください。
And we will continue to monitor the stability of the system and then proceed to official release.
今日このステージで発表したファイナルファンタジー 14.7.0 ドントレイルを含むフルバージョン XBOX でプレイ可能になります。
So the full version that we've announced on the stage today, including 7.0 Dawntrail, will be playable on Xbox.
Nice.
他のプラットフォームと同じように XBOX 版もダウンロード版のみの発売となります。
It will only be available as a downloadable version, just like our other platforms.
オープンベータから製品版に移行すればそのままプレイできますので、ぜひオープンベータから参加してください。
However, because of that, you can go straight from the open beta to playing the full release version, so we do encourage you to join the beta.
フィルさん、改めて壇上でこう発表できて感想いかがですか？
Phil, once again, do you have any further comments you'd like to share?
The entire Xbox team is excited to see how our newest Warriors of Light will use the full capabilities of Xbox Series X and Series S to help save Eorzea. And I'm excited to partner with you, Yoshida-san, and your studios as you bring this incredible franchise to global platforms to enable more players to connect and experience the joy of gaming together.
新たに加わる光の戦士たちがいかに XBOX シリーズ X とシリーズ S の機能をフルに活用してエオルゼアを救っていくのが見るのを楽しみにしています。そして吉田さんとスタジオチームの皆さんと連携し、この素晴らしいフランチャイズをグローバルなプラットフォームで展開することでより多くのプレイヤーとつながり、一緒にゲームの楽しさを体験できるようになることを楽しみにしています。
Thank you, Phil. では最後に、この会場にね、せっかくスクエアエニックスの CEO もいるのでちょっと登場してもらおうかと思います。
Well, since our CEO is here, why not just bring him out too?
桐生さん出てきてください。
President Kiryu.
桐生さんが桐生さんからフィルさんとかね、ファンの皆さんに XBOX バージョンの発表についてちょっとコメントをいただけると助かります。
President Kiryu, can you share your thoughts with us about the new Xbox version?
First off, I have to thank you, Philson, for working with us to make the Xbox version of Final Fantasy XIV a reality.
Thank you.
And this is a project that wouldn't have been possible without his support. So I'd like everyone to once again give him the biggest round of applause. Thank you. And I'd like to speak Japanese from here because we're speaking both with Yoshi P and Philson.
ここからは日本語でお話しさせていただきます。
そしてですね、改めまして、ヨシピーも私も、そしておそらくここにいる多くの非課税の皆さん、そしてですね、配信を見ている皆さん、きっとですね、Xbox という新たなプラットフォームを得てですね、ファイナルファンタジー14、ここにいらっしゃる皆さんの熱気をより多くの仲間と共に世界中で楽しめること、これをみんな楽しみにしていると思います。
I think I can speak for myself, Yoshi, all of our Warriors of Light here, watching the live stream, when I say how excited I am to see Xbox support added and for us to welcome countless new friends to the world of Final Fantasy XIV.
そしてですね、Xbox ユーザーの皆さん、ファイナルファンタジー14は先ほどもお話ししましたけれども、今後さらに発展していきますので、どうかここにいる皆さんと一緒に楽しんでいただければというふうに思います。
Final Fantasy XIV is only going to get bigger and better, so all the Xbox gamers out there, I urge you to give Final Fantasy XIV a try.
そしてスクエアエニックスの CEO としてもう一つだけ言わせてください。
And one more thing, as CEO of Square Enix,
我々スクエアエニックス、ここにいるヨシピーをはじめ開発のメンバー含めて、これからも世界中のファンの皆さんに素晴らしいゲームをお届けしたいというふうに思っています。
we want to continue to deliver fabulous games to fans across the world.
そして Xbox、フィルさんの、ファンである Xbox コミュニティの皆さんにもですね、ぜひ我々のゲームをより多く楽しんでいただきたいというふうに思っています。
And of course, we want to welcome the Xbox community as well.
本日ですね、発表させていただいた、ファイナルファンタジー14の Xbox バージョン版、Xbox 版はですね、2024年の春には皆さんにお届けしたいというふうに思っていますけれども、これを皮切りにですね、世界中の Xbox のプレイヤーの皆さんに当社スクエアエニックスのゲームをできるだけ多くお届けできるように、楽しんでいただけるように CEO としてぜひ頑張っていきたいというふうに思っています。
And starting with today's announcement of Final Fantasy XIV coming in spring 2024, and wherever possible, we're planning to bring our games to Xbox for players around the world to enjoy.
今後ですね、Xbox とスクエアエニックスがパートナーシップをしっかり組みながらですね、世界中のより多くのお客様を楽しませるために、ここにいるフィルさんとですね、Xbox チームの皆さんと一緒にこれからご一緒にですね、できることを今から私はとても楽しみにしています。
We're really looking forward to working closely with Phil and the Xbox team to make this possible.
You still need to buy a PS5. That
Thank
costs
you,
like
Kudu-san.
350
We
plus.
deeply respect the rich legacy of Square
You can
Enix,
just get
and we look
Series S,
forward
which
to
costs you
building
about
on the
250,
relationship
plus the
that we've
games to say
established in
complete
bringing
edition,
Final Fantasy
digital,
XIV to Xbox
70,
and partnering
310.
closely with you and the Square Enix team on future games.
桐生さんありがとうございます。私たちはスクエア・エニックスの素晴らしいレガシーを深くリスペクトしていますし、このファイナルファンタジー14を Xbox に導入することで培ってきた関係をより強くして、今後いろいろなことにおいて桐生さんや吉田さん、そして御社から今後リリースされていくタイトルにおいてスクエア・エニックスチームの皆さんと密に連携できることを楽しみにしています。
はい、ありがとうございます。ぜひよろしくお願いします。今後も Xbox の皆さんとお仕事していくのとても楽しみにしてます。
I'm extremely thankful, and we are committed to working with Xbox going forward.
じゃあせっかく来ていただいたので、ちょっと握手を3人でしてもいいですか？
Well, while we're up here, let's shake hands.
はい、ありがとうございま
Thank you so much.
す。いや、改めてフィールさん、本当に信じられないぐらいお忙しい中、このファンフェスのステージ来てくださり、本当に本当にありがとうございます。
Really, Phil, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come to this at FanFest.
では会場の皆さん、改めて大きな拍手をお願いします。
One more big round of applause, please.
フィル・スペンサーでした。Thank you.
Final Fantasy 14 on Xbox. I welcome it. About time.
いやー、ようやく発表できてほっとしてます。
I'm so glad we finally got to reveal that.
桐生さん、初めてこの物理ファンフェスのステージに立ってみていかがでしたか？
So, President Kiryu, this is your first time at FanFest in person. How is it?
いやもう最高ですね、一言で言うと。
For the lack of a better word, this is the best experience ever.
He loves it.
さて、基調講演なんですが、今日のところお話しできることはすべてお話ししました。
All right, as far as the keynote goes, I have told you everything I possibly can today.
7.0、そしてさらなる大きなお知らせは、
As for further announcements on big upcoming stuff, including 7.0,
次のファンフェスロンドンでさせていただこうと思います。
please tune in to FanFest in London.
Seems 3 months away as well. Which I couldn't get a ticket for.
改めて桐生さん、ファンフェス間もなくこのままスタートしていこうと思いますが、皆さんに一言ありますか？
Well, we're getting ready to kick off FanFest then. So, President Kiryu, any final thoughts?
Thank you very much for having a time today, and I'm so excited, and I got lots of energy from here, all of Warriors of Light. Thank you very much.
さあ、ではこのままオープニングに移りたいと思いますので、
All
アスベガスに来ている開発運営チームの皆さん、ステージへお願いします。
So let's move on to the opening ceremony, which means we need the development team out on stage.